Good evening. Oh my goodness, what a fun gathering we've got. Thank you all so much for coming. My name is Lacey Dale Grasha, and I will just start off by saying that we wouldn't be here had it not been for how God intervened in our life with this patch and blessed our daughter's life. And uh, it's a miraculous story that we never saw coming, and a lot of people here know it, but a lot of people don't. So we'll share a little bit of that later. But thank you so much. Time is our greatest resource, and the fact that you've given yourself this time, and the fact that you've also given us this time to educate you about the most prolific regenerative health technology that has ever existed is just a blessing. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. We are very honored to have our dear friend and the amazing human that God assigned to us to lead and guide us through this journey. Travel up here from Houston. She did an event in Houston last night and barely slept a wink and drove on up in order because she is like a walking encyclopedia. I always tell everybody that you ask her anything about this patch and all that comes with it, and she just has taught us so much. But most importantly, she has a servant's heart and has just led and guided our family and the Ebar family through this whole journey. And we're so very honored to have Kerri Roberson join us today too.
She always makes it really, really good for me to live up to that big introduction, right? Well, it is always an honor to be here. I love getting to spend time, and I've got this little cough, but it's not coming, right? We actually were in Hawaii last week, and we went horseback riding in the rain and decided, well, we're wet, so we should go swim in the cold waterfalls. And yeah, and then got on a flight for 12 hours, and that's all it was just a little cough, but it's good. So I'm excited to be here. I would love just to know how many of you are seeing Lifeway for the very first time on a bigger picture. Raise your hands high. Okay, quite a few of you. That's exciting to me because and we're going to lay it all out for you tonight as best as we can, because this truly is, like Lacey Dale said, the most regenerative technology of our lifetime when it comes to the human body. And it's sometimes a little hard to believe, but you're going to get to hear testimonies tonight and understand just how powerful this is, because, well, the power is within you. That's the best part. And so we'll explain that as we go, but you get to live long, live well, and live young. Doesn't that sound better than getting old and falling apart? And right? I always say, now I know what I want to be when I grow up. Younger, right? Okay. We're all in agreement. So now, how many of you have ever been to Hawaii? Okay, how many of you want to go to Hawaii? Okay, that's a lot of you. Well, here's what I know is that we start with this because tonight I want you to be thinking, seeing yourself, right? This is my lay. I got these pearls last week in Hawaii, so I'm like, this is the newfound lay. But the reality is that as we take this gift and we give it away, we have great rewards, and Hawaii is one of them. And so this is the new trip that the company's launched. And here's what I know: when you get to travel first class, all expense paid, 5-star vacations. You heard that 5-star, all expense paid part. It's so much better than if you're paying for yourself. And they spoil us rotten because they want you to be greatly rewarded. And so that is something that we would love for all of you to go on with us, because, well, it's just the reward, and it's what we get to do is travel together. And that's a lot of fun, I will promise you. So tonight you're going to get to hear both sides, because opportunity happens when you provide solutions to people. And whenever you've got something that everyone needs and no one knows, it's a pretty special thing. And so X39 is the stem cell activation. And the problem is that everyone in this room, stem cells are going dormant as we age, but yet nobody tells us that that's the reason that we have issues as we age. So whenever you have something that can reactivate them, and it's affordable and it's easy to wear, it's friendly, right? There's not needles involved, so that's a good thing. And so it's just pretty incredible. So you're going to get to see that. But there's also a great need in our world for finances. And a lot of people struggle. And so whenever you can share something that's going to add value and change someone's life and be compensated, it's a powerful thing too. So we'll tell you a little bit about how that goes as well. But let me give you a little bit of history as far as LifeWave, the company. We are in our 21st year now. We just celebrated our 21st birthday. And the company operates in now over 84 countries. And so we're a global company that is absolutely making a mark around the world. And you can see that in 2021, this company was a $20 million company. Up until that point, it was primarily only being used by physicians, actually mostly in Europe and Asia, where you went to the doctor and they would say, you've got this thing going on, and here we're going to fix you with these patches. And because they don't use Western medicine, right? They actually get to the root of the problem in a lot of other places as to where, well, we run in a different environment. And so we just give you one prescription and then we give you the second one and we give you another one. And so that's where it was primarily being used, but they weren't sharing it. They weren't saying, hey, go tell your mom, your sister, and your brother you can get better. Well, X39 came on the scene and everything changed. Because when you understand what you have your hands on, and the few people started sharing it with everyone, you can see the numbers there. I always say numbers never lie, right? So X39 comes out 20 million to last year, we closed out over 600 million. Now, a lot of people would say, what does that matter to me? Well, we're a little different. Although LifeWave does have over 600 employees that get our product out, answer our phones, do all those things, it's built by those of us that go out into the world and share it with other people. And this is the most lucrative opportunity I've ever seen. And I've done a few things. But the reality is that this one pays back 60 cents on the dollar to the brand partners. And so you might ask, well, if it's going to be close to $1 billion this year, that's our push, is to get to $1 billion this year. What does that mean for you? Well, that means that all is coming, 600 million is coming back. Like, that's pretty incredible, right? And so when you think, okay, so we want you to know that it is about you, those numbers. It's not just about us saying, oh, look, there's something out there. Because there's a lot of companies that do big numbers, but nobody gets paid differently, right? They're still getting the same paycheck. So we've also been awarded the Bravo Growth Award for the past 2 years. So this is given out by Direct Selling News. Over 6,000 companies in the United States alone are looked at for this award. Then you add the rest of the world on top of it. So think about that. The fastest growing company 2 years in a row and a 3,000% growth. So it's not us saying, hey, we know we have something here. It's truly the outside that's analyzing everything. Your numbers, your revenue, your sales, all those things. And now we're ranked #1 in momentum by another organization that's a global organization. So once again, there's a lot of validation to that, but I'm going to tell you the one I'm most proud of. And that is, we just took the Biotech Breakthrough Award for Stem Cell Innovation of the Year. Like, when we tell you this patch is changing people's lives and changing the world, we're not just saying it because a lot of people are like, a sticker? You're going to tell me a sticker can do that? And we're always, yes. And the answer is still going to be yes. And tomorrow it's going to be yes, because it's going to work every time on everyone for everything. Because every human has stem cells and they're all going dormant. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I want to be the bearer of good news, right? I want to tell you, I can literally turn your body back on. And so it's pretty amazing. And once again, there were over 1,000 nominations out of 15 countries that were competing for that award. So it wasn't like we were like, hey, we're big over here and we're just this one. No. Stem cells, how many of you have heard the word stem cell? Like, there's a buzz out there, right? But, like most stem cells, there's an injection they might put in your shoulder, and it's just your shoulder. Or your knee, and it's just your knee. And they start around, 7,000 and go up. And oh, by the way, cash money, and they may or may not work. And my friend got told $6,500 for each shoulder. You're going to need up to 4 rows. Cash money, but by the way, they might not work. And he was like, that's rolling the dice. But the next day he found out about this technology. And in 5 days, that situation was completely gone and changed his life, and has now gone on to impact thousands and thousands of families. So we're excited because it truly is life-changing. So I'm going to play a video for you, and then Lacey Dell's going to come up and take us through the next part. I have to close this for 1 second. I didn't have an IT department like me and Crossland and Hannah to figure it all out, but you know what? We'll figure it out. All right, here we go.
You may have heard it said that people say necessity is the mother of invention. But actually, what I think is that divine inspiration is the actual key that unlocks the impossible. I didn't know those things when I was a young 8-year-old telling my dad I wanted to be an inventor. I just knew I wanted to create things and maybe even change the world through the process. As I grew up, my thirst and hunger to invent only became stronger, and I looked for a way to channel my energies into something that could benefit people. Then, one day, when driving home from work, I received what I would call a divine insight. What if we used light in an entirely new way to communicate with the human mind? That's when the LifeWave patch technology was born, and the rest, as they say, is history. Sometimes I find it really hard to believe that this year I was issued my 200th patent, an accomplishment that makes me feel just so incredibly blessed. It's a testament that through the power of prayer, recognizing God as Lord and Creator, the power of persistence, and yeah, a lot of hard work. But as I get to do what I love to do every day, I fully acknowledge that it is through the great teamwork of our incredible global corporate staff and of course, our amazing field leaders and brand partners. Without them, LifeWave wouldn't be what it is today. And I find it so incredible that with all this, we're just getting started. After over 6 years of research, you can now deliver light-infused water to your body at the touch of a button, allowing you to achieve health benefits that have never been before possible with our X2O system. And not to mention that this also opens up an entirely new market for LifeWave. I have also worked with our research team to create an entirely new way of producing clean and abundant energy that will power your home, your electric car, and even generate enough power that you can sell the excess electricity back to the grid. When we release this new technology, it will provide you with a new financial opportunity while also helping to clean up the planet in the process. Something else I'm really proud of is that we're also launching our new drone technology as we speak. What I love about our community is that we are a group of people wanting to be part of the solution, helping those in need. These drones will allow us to do just this. When disaster strikes, we can bring hope to others. We can do this in the form of relief-aided patches and expose our brand to a broader audience through resulting press coverage. Our principal mission, though, as a GP, I'm determined to find solutions for stopping and reversing human aging. And it's incredibly rewarding to see just how much progress we've made in this endeavor. I can tell you that LifeWave is truly a world leader on this subject. Patents on these and other inventions will ensure that LifeWave will only be growing bigger, stronger, and more influential for decades to come. And that's through this proprietary technology that is ours alone. So the great news, we all share a common vision to help others by empowering people to take control of their well-being, their livelihood, and their longevity. As we continue to innovate and serve the needs of our customers, together we will be unstoppable. So let's share the light and let's be the light.
Okay, I gotta say this, because how many of you looked at that and thought, oh, that was literally.
Just let it clear out stuff for you. The number one answer, right?
Love it. That's why we embed the link with the download, YouTube. And after the video plays, it goes right back into the PowerPoint. Although you have to know the right one, you get a virus on your computer, so we didn't think it. So there you have it. The reality though is I've shared that with a few people, and you know what they said is like, that's pretty cool, like to see the vision. And I'm like, that's reality. What he just walked you through was our corporate office, the light infused waters in our homes, right? So it's pretty amazing as you start to see this man and his vision and what he's done. It's not a someday. My husband and I got to travel to Denmark this summer and to see those drones in action. I mean, it's pretty breathtaking. But to get to meet high government officials from all over because they're moved by what he's want, because his drones will never be used for weapon or warfare. It's for humanitarian aid, for search and rescue, but it's beyond this world, what we're seeing with these drones and what they're capable of. And so, David, I just think what a beautiful thing to be aligned with such an incredible person of vision, but a person of action. Because that's the reality is that, it's not just, hey, I think I've got a good idea. He has over 200 patents and counting. He shared with us by this time next year, he should hold somewhere between 300 and 350. Does anybody know anybody with a patent? You know how it was pretty hard, wasn't it? I've got people that go, I know my friend got one and said that would never happen again. That was grueling. And so I'm like, it's pretty amazing because his heart is to serve humanity in all capacities. And he loves this whole opportunity to be able to do that, to bring it back to family. So it's pretty amazing, but that is truly our home office. And so it's open, there's a welcome center and people can go, and it's almost as if you're walking into the future. And then when you have guys like Bill Shatner, like, beam me up, Scotty, doing some fun little videos for us as he's in our home office, people are like, who are y'all? Yeah, the world's about to know who we are. Before I bring Lacey Dell up, I'll tell you see these banners right here. This Code of Creation is about to come out, and it's a documentary. And it's on David's life, but it is about his creation. It is about how that he believes that his inspiration has come from the Lord and what's happened with it. And so that documentary, several of us got to preview it last month, and wow, is it powerful. Because it is truly, it's going to change the world. And so here's where I believe you're at, the right place at the right time. Because chances are many people haven't called you about this before now, but they will be, right? And so you get a chance to be able to see that. So Lacey Dell, I'll let you take it over and share.
Well, I think that video speaks for itself, and then what she was telling you about this documentary, when we watched it, I thought I wouldn't need to tell anybody anything about any of this. If they just chose to watch this on their own TV, they would say, okay, we want to be a part of this, because this man is just, you can feel his heart, and you can tell his brilliance, and God has created each of us with a gift, and what he has done with he's been so in tune with the Lord and so obedient when and done things the world has never seen before. So that's a call to all of us to do the same thing. But that video just pretty much summed all of that up. I don't even know what button to hit. I'm not the tech girl here. Okay. So based on that patent, I never read the patent when this came to us. I just heard the word stem cell. I knew enough about what I thought I was going to do with stem cell to help Crossan with her health. But some people enjoy reading patents. This is the most important paragraph of the entire patent for X39. According to at least one embodiment of the invention, which may be worn anywhere on the human body, anywhere. It works. Oh, guidance.
That is fair.
See, I just leave me with the patches and people. That's what I say all the time. But anywhere on the body, it works. It takes an inventory, head to toe, of your whole body, and it says, here's everything going on in your body, and then here's the priority from which it needs to
Just that button.
just hit this button and don't touch anything else. Okay. Anyway, back to anywhere on the human body that causes a beneficial effect by providing phototherapy to the human body. So I had a nurse tell me the other day, we've used phototherapy for years. When babies are born and they are jaundiced, what's the first thing that we do? Phototherapy. So As a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. So this didn't get a 20-year patent based on placebo effect. This was proven out throughout all the clinical trials. So the patent is not on trial. It is a for real thing. So what are stem cells? I know Dusty has said, you know, like, if you haven't been in the medical world, like, does anybody even really know what stem cells are? And it's been a learning curve for us to experience this for sure. So they are the master cell of your body, the building block for the body. It's their job to naturally repair and renew. That's why God created us with stem cells. This is the way our bodies are meant to heal themselves. They're found throughout the body in various tissues and organs, and they replenish the dying cells, the regenerated damaged tissue, by entering the bloodstream, where they migrate to areas most in need of repair and renewal. So it is the main cell that works blood and bone and everything, everywhere throughout your body. So why the X39 stem cell reactivation patch? Well, the stem cells make up every organ in your body. As you age, like Kerri said earlier, we learned that by 30, over 50% of your stem cells have gone dormant. And by 60, less than 10% of our stem cells are even active. So the majority of them have all gone inactive. And what David was divinely downloaded with was realizing that we could reactivate. And I always use the description in my little mind. I just saw like an army rising up. These are all of our little soldiers that God gave us to stand to attention and to fight at the fullest capacity. So they march on. So how it works, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. There's this patented nanocrystal technology inside the little white circle. No drugs, chemicals, or stimulants. It's totally non-transdermal, non-invasive, putting nothing in your body, and it's reflecting the light from within. We are light beings. We can't see it in the spiritual field around us, but we emit this light. And so no, the patch doesn't have to hit the sun or anything. Like, it's working off the light from within your own body. And also one of the dynamics that I learned along this is sometimes in our life, we've been told it's not good to be out in the sun. Well, actually, it is great to be out in the sun, because the sun is not giving you vitamin D. It's the vitamin D within your own body that is elevated once the sun hits your body. So this is an effect just like that. So the benefits, you can see in some of our banners around as you've walked in and joined us, that these are the things that most everyone sees over the course of time. And that's what the patent proved out. There's an increased strength, reduction of inflammation, increased stamina, energy and vitality, mental clarity, restored musculoskeletal conditions, improved sleep, and improved skin appearance. I personally can tell you I've had all of those things happen. Some of them happened in the first few days. Some of them happened over the course of time. And that's what David has taught us, is for every decade you've been alive, to be patient 1 month with the regenerative process. And so what's fun is, as you hear people share their testimonies, it gets better day by day by day. The longer that somebody wears this, yes, they may be 50 years old and want to give it 5 months, but you'll hear stories that up on a year, suddenly all sorts of stuff started happening that they didn't even realize within their own body needed to happen and was a part of their testimony. So this is what it talks about. The more time that you give it, the better things get. In the first few days, and I love telling this story, it's like a hard drive reboot on the computer. 4,000 genes begin to reset. And my daddy is the old cowboy that ate big chocolate cookies with his coffee for breakfast, never paid attention to anything in his health. He's trained horses and been a horseshoer, and I'll never forget, he watched what happened, the miracles within his granddaughter. He said, I want one of those. And I was surprised. Well, he called me the very next day and he said, honey, I feel like my entire brain just reset. I said, well, because it did, Daddy. That's exactly what happened. And bless his heart, he'd never even heard any of this. They literally spoke to exactly what happens. Now, some people feel that. I felt that. He felt that. A lot of us do, but not everybody does. But that is what's happening on the cellular level. Your brain is becoming balanced. Your collagen increases. And then this is the other really fun fact. I tell everybody, if you're going to do this, which everyone needs to, you need to come into this with, give yourself a year commitment. Like, no matter what your age is, just say, I'm going to do this for the year. I know that I'm going to be better on the backside. But at 6 months, your heart will have reversed 8 years in age. And my husband and I just ironically had some heart scans that were already scheduled that happened to align with that 6-7 month time period. And ours came back more than 10 years younger. And I thought, oh my goodness, we all want to turn back the clock. And it's fun because you're turning the clock back internally, but also externally. A lot of us ladies have enjoyed, and you'll hear one of these testimonies later, the outward effects of the healing that happens from within when you start reverse aging. So that is what David is focused on, is reverse aging, not anti-aging, but reversing time and reversing damage. So how you wear this, it's very simple. We first of all tell everybody, as you create the new habit in your life, put it by your toothbrush, because hopefully you're brushing your teeth in the morning and brushing your teeth at night. So you're not going to forget to put it on when it's sitting by your toothbrush. And you can wear it, like we said, anywhere on your body. But the two places that they suggest to start with are at the C7 at the base of your neck, where that little bone pokes out, or 2 fingers below the belly button. And the reason being, those were the 2 spots that they used in all the clinical trials to prove this 20-year patent out. But those are the 2 spots in the body that have the largest cluster of stem cells. So starting there is a good point. But if you have a point of discomfort, AKA pain, if you have that, go ahead and slap it right there on that point of pain. We see in a matter of minutes, hours, and not everybody, but most people, if they've got something like that going on and it's a large priority in their body, that will choose that and lessen or remove it. And then you wear it for 12 hours and take it off. Now the 12 hours is just as important off as it is on. Your body has to have this whole regenerative process. If you were to leave it on all day and all night, your body's it's gonna quit responding to the technology. So the 12 hours on and the 12 hours off, and the other only detail to wearing this little sticker around for 12 hours is staying properly hydrated. All of our lives we've been told to drink lots and lots of water, which is, yes, way better than all the other alternatives out there. So drink lots of water, that still stands true. But with this, you need to remineralize your cells with potassium, magnesium, and sodium. Because if you just drink lots and lots of water, sometimes it'll flush all the good out of your cells. And you need those cells remineralized. This will enhance and maximize the technology. If someone were to put this on and immediately say, oh, I'm feeling tired or I'm getting a headache, that's actually hydration. It has nothing to do with the patch. It's your body's trying to reset this whole hard drive and go to work to heal you, but it's needing the hydration to maximize what's going on in there. So put on a sticker, brush your teeth, and drink plenty of electrolytes. So this is my very, very favorite part. Before I bring some of my friends up here, I'll share a little bit about our family and how we got here. Crossland's story is just a miraculous one that we give God all the glory for. We know that he healed her in a moment. She was about to see Jesus. She had a bacteria in her lungs She has cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic terminal disease that just can progress over the course of time. And she got in a really deep valley, and she had a bacteria that no one in Oklahoma had ever had in their lungs, and her doctor was scared, and we were on our knees praying and begging God for an answer. And this was brought to us, and I heard stem cell. Like I said, I had understood stem cell and knew that that was the last tool in our toolbox, but I had a grand plan that we were going to all fly to Mexico, and we were all, the Bowers and us, and we were going to get all of our stem cells infused, and I just had this grand plan, but God had a way better and way bigger plan. So when I heard those two words, I knew I needed to listen, but I still contacted the cystic fibrosis executive director to tell me that this wasn't too good to be true, because the majority of people will hear this and like Kerri said earlier, this is a little too good to be true that you can wear a sticker and all this stuff can happen. But she told me, in fact, that all the scientific knowledge that she had, yes, in fact, this was true, and she wanted one for her and her husband too, so to get it on Crossland quickly. All we knew was that Crossland in the very first night slept through the night, and that was huge because she always had her body waking her up throughout the night, every night of her life with coughing. That was typical for CF. Well, as a few nights go by, Dusty just said, if this does nothing but is her sleeping patch, we're leaving this on her. What we did not know is 15 days later, we go into the doctor and she does her routine pulmonary function test where she blows all the air out of her lungs as hard as she can over a long time. And all these numbers registered. She does it over and over, and it blew at 100% for the first time in her entire life. And her doctor looked at me and I said, to God be the glory. We have lots of prayer warriors around her. I was not going to tell him what was going on because I was just in shock along with her. We were both like, what in the world? So she blew the 100%. We left. We came back a month later. It was still 100%. Her body began to climb this mountain so rapidly that for the last year of our life, she has stayed 100%. We have traveled all over the nation now. When we used to just have to stay in Oklahoma, it would be too intense on her body to even go into different environments. And also, a few months into it, she began running and exercising for the first time in her life because it reversed her junior rheumatoid arthritis that an antibiotic had caused in the process too. So we are so fortunate that and that was more than enough. You know, your child is that we all can attest here when your children are going through something, boy, that was more than enough. And then when all of the blessings of being able to share this with other people came along with it, I mean, it's just so fun to live with an open hand. This became a moral obligation, which has turned into a humanity movement. Dusty and Gatlin and Crossland, can you come up here just a little bit? And for anybody that doesn't know Crossland, she is also, you're going to get to know her in a little bit, which she's going to speak about her element regarding horses. But the other part of our story, this is for every, step up here where everybody can see, not everybody can see. The other part is Kerri taught us that there were so many testimonies from NICU babies to 102. This applies to everybody. So Gatlin, he had an eye infection when this was all unfolding that we think he might have got from some cattle. We don't know. It was bright red eye. We've been going to the doctor for 2 months. The doctor was running all the tests, said his eyes are totally healthy. We don't know why we have one bright red eye and a white one. And so one day I put it on him, and within 48 hours, what we battled for 2 months was gone. We've never seen it since. And then also, he comes by it naturally. He was a wonderful student in school, but his teachers just said it was a challenge for him to focus. And so as the school year was approaching, I said, well, honey, why don't you just wear the sticker that's helped your sissy and see what happens? And suddenly, overnight, all of his papers came home with this beautiful handwriting we'd never seen. They were fully filled out. He taught himself leather work on YouTube. He now has a business if anybody wants any leather work. He has built thousands of Legos, and he plays the guitar. He has all this initiative, and his teacher said, "What did you do?" They assumed it was medication. And I said, "It was the same sticker that saved his sissy's life." And then Dusty wants to tell you a couple details about it.
When Carlson was going through that, it was probably it was the lowest time in my whole family's life, I would say, as a whole. And to understand what she was going through, I'm talking a deathly cough every 15 seconds, and it would last. It was every day, all night. So really nobody slept through the night. So whenever we put the patch on her and Gatlin ran in there and was like, "Sissy, you slept all through the night." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, holy cow." Well, about that same time, I was recovering from a neck surgery, and if anybody's dealt with that or neck pain, your mobility is off and you can't do what you used to do. Well, I was trying to get back into roping, and I could only rope a few head, and the next day I'd be crippled, and then I would try it like 2 days later. Well, I was like, if that's working for her, I'm gonna put it on. So I put it on, and I've never looked back. Like, I can go practice from that day, 20 head, and the next day I'm regretting or whatever. I didn't want to wake up and feel like I was in pain, and it was gone. So that was the start of it. The blessings of it endless. So one other major one, I have arthritis in my hands, my pointer fingers, and that is completely gone. I had my hamstring break off the bone of my pelvic, and went to the doctor trying to figure out what was going on. So I thought I had a hernia, and he's like, "How are you even walking? You're not black and blue, you're not bruised, you're not anything." And I showed him that patch. He thought I was crazy, but I had to show it to him. But the recovery from that was way faster, and I mean the list just goes on. But I can talk for quite a while about it.
Well, thank y'all so much. You're released. And right there is why when something happens for one of us wearing the patch, Kerri, when we met her, she told us this, like, everybody loves at least 4 people. I mean, here's just our family of 4. Like, just as you're thinking about this for yourself, think about all the other people around, because the diversity of just our own family's testimony proves, and you're going to hear from other families too. So would the of our family come up? And then let's see, we've got Mary Jane Bone and Kendall and Kate and Brooke and Valerie. Well, everybody just come up here, and we're going to rapid fire through all of these. Let's see. Oh, whoops. And I forgot. Sorry, I forgot these were the pictures. These were the pictures. I forgot about these. Of Crossland, you can see the total strength, and I mean, the 1 year difference in the same position in her same doctor's office was just undeniable. Her body, the girl before this patch and the girl now, I mean, she just went up and out, up and out. It wasn't just the lung piece. It was like her whole body. And she's talked about her hair growth. And I mean, it used to be thin. You could see through it. And now it's thick and healthy. That one shows a major difference with her same horse, just 1 year apart. This was Gatlin's spelling. This was the difference in what we were. It was undeniable. So here we go. Thank you very much for reminding me that. Okay, everybody's got to come up here because we have amazing people that are zooming in from all over the nation. No pressure. And then this side of the room has to be able to see. So come on up, Holly. It's your favorite thing.
So I'm Holly Epcar, about half of the year, but I'm married to world champion Amelia Epcar here. That's been to the national finals 21 consecutive times, won the world 5 times in saddle bronc riding. And so our dear friends, the Grashes here, called us on the way home from Crossland's appointment, told us the miracle. So I said, hey, I'm coming over tomorrow morning and I don't care what it is, we're trying it. So got some patches, patched up this beautiful family, and the miracle started happening pretty fast. So I'm going to tell you mine and let them tell you theirs. Mine took a little longer than them. Well, I say that. I had a traumatic brain injury from a horse and I hit the fence going full blast. And had done a lot of therapy, thought I was pretty good. And then the patch put it on and had a complete realization that I wasn't quite as good as I thought I'd been. So I've got lots of my brain fog had cleared. I started being able to multitask, and I mean, I could just life got so much better and so much clearer. And then just more energy, all the things that they say up here. I could go on and on here, but the other significant thing was I had another wreck a few years later on a horse that had separated my pubic bones from the cartilage, and the doctors had told me I need surgery, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. So I just started riding with I started riding that way. Wasn't supposed to, but I did. And a year and a half later, and I've worn the patches for 6 months now. It reattached. So that was a huge thing. It was December 27th when I rode. And of course I didn't tell anybody because I was a little afraid it was going to, the next time something bumped or jumped sideways or whatever would pop loose. But I popped all the time. And I couldn't push like when I ride horse and squeeze my knees together, I get pushed my thumbs out, so I couldn't hang on. So anyway, very life-changing for me. And I mean, all I can say is everybody just wear the patch, but we'll let these guys go tell you their stories.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trey. I'm 24 years old, and I'll just make mine short and sweet for you. To start, my mom's mom at 45 died from a mysterious heart problem. And still to this day don't know exactly what happened, but she was mentioning heart flutters. She was running all the time. She was healthy, eating good. Sat down in the rocking chair one day and died at 45. So 2020, I started having these heart flutters, and it slowly started getting worse. Pretty much about 15 minutes after every meal, I would have like a mini heart attack. So heart would go from normal beats to beating so fast that my body would be pulsating, and then I'd lose breath. It'd make me cough, like really scary. And this is after every meal, whether it's healthy or whatever. So found out about the patches. I put them on, wear them for roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and I looked at mom and I was like, wait a minute, no more heart flutters. So that was huge for me, but that's mine.
Hi, so I'm Billy Upgard, but so my hips was bothering me really bad after that many years of doing what I do as far as breaking horses and everything. But so 6, 8 weeks into it, with the X39, and the hips basically don't bother me at all anymore. And then I didn't realize how bad my brain fog was. So I was never really great at names and stuff anyway, but after being on the patches, I was remembering more people's names and stuff after the patches, and still to this day, I still feel like I'm better on that. And my 24-hour drive last night wasn't really good on my voice and stuff, but I made a trip up to Wyoming here in the last 2 days, and I survived it all by myself, and I didn't think I could do that anymore either. But and also, there's something I'd show you. My hair was white and silver, basically all of it. And my hair is turning back brown. So,
That's my favorite part. I'll never forget the first day he's showing everybody that. And I was like, it's just like a woman's skin. I mean, all of us, we're reversing time, but that is another very obvious way. Come on, come on up here.
To follow Billy.
No.
I'm sure everybody's like, he's been bumped out so many times. In 2018, I know I have a lot of neighbors here. Some of you may or may not have known this, but it was the last day before Christmas that I was first day off for the rest of the year. And I didn't think I was getting emotional about this, but I had a really bad morning. I woke up and I was really dizzy and I was nauseous. I just thought I had a bug. My husband saved my life. He found me and I had a stroke. So again, at our age, who would think that, somebody our age would have a stroke? So the great thing was he found me, best outcome that could happen. We have a level 1 stroke center here in Oklahoma City, so they took really good care of me. Problem was I lost about a walnut size of my brain, and I was able to walk and talk. kind of. I mean, I had some aphasia, if you've ever heard that, where I can't find the words. But I was just not as sharp as I used to be, you know? So that was something I was always obsessed with, like, how do I get my brain to function again? And I also have Alzheimer's in my family. So I think when you go through that, we all get very concerned, like, I do not want to go down that road, you know, take me out behind the shed before that happens. And so I've been very obsessed with how do I get this brain to reactivate. So my good friend Lacey, who I'm always trusting, she always has her mama doctor hat on. And so Lacey said, I got something, you got to try it. And I said, I don't care what it is, I'll try it. If you say try it, I will try it. And so it has definitely helped me. I'm back, I'm sharper than I was. I'm doing deals where now we're sharing X39. And the thing I got to tell you is, what I didn't realize is I was in pain all the time because I had sciatica. Can't old people issues sound like. Sciatica is a nerve pain that goes down your hip. If you do a lot of driving, well, going down the road rodeoing, I was a traveling sales rep. A lot of us have it. And so I had this intense pain, but I just went on and just said, that's life. And here I am concerned about my brain and how smart I am. And one day somebody was like, well, what have you seen results? And I said, oh, my brain is smarter. And then I was like, you know what? I don't hurt anymore. So sciatic pain has gone away also. So, all right.
Well, and another thing, I told her, I said, Mary Jane's just a sharp gal, and I knew she would see this for all that it was, but it took her a few months. But it happens to be a before and after picture because she saw herself side by side, and she was like, whoa, I have reversed some age. And it was her own. And so if you have not started patching, take a before picture because you will show yourself on the outside what is happening on the inside.
Come by, I have it on my phone. It is no Botox, no injections, anything like that. Yeah. Oh, girl.
I love that.
Fix you
Yes,
up.
I love it. Thank you, Mary Jane. This is a powerful.
Okay, guys, I haven't done this. If you would have asked me 3 months ago, I would have told you you're crazy because I was going to be in front of all these people talking. But I'll tell you my story. So back in January 2023, my mom died unexpectedly. And so, you know, what most doctors do, like when you're struggling, they put you on an antidepressant. And so I got put on one, and I still struggled, like just the highs and lows that come along with taking anxiety medicine. And I just thought it was just a new norm, like just being numb to things. Like people could tell me something, and I'd be like, that's weird. Like, and I have no emotion. And I was like, knew that wasn't normal. Well, this year, Bridget Johnson posted about her patches in May. And if any of you know Bridget Johnson, she's like a go-getter. So I was skeptical. I was like, oh, Lord, what has Bridget got herself into now? And so I waited. And in July, she posted this video. And she was like crying. You could tell she was so passionate about it. So I just reached out to her. And she's like, let's go on a call. And if you would have asked me a long time ago if I was on a call with someone, I'm like, just text it out. We don't have to talk about it. And Bridget was like, no, I want to talk to you. I'm like, okay. So I talked to her, and I was like, you know what? This all sounds good. Just get me started. And so my patches arrived in August, and by 2 weeks, I was feeling like I had energy again. Like I have a 3 and 4 year old, so if you can imagine. But I was able to start running again. Like it was just great. And then by a month in, I went to my sister. She's a nurse. And I was like, I don't think I need this medicine anymore. And she's like, well, you should probably reach out to your physician. And like I'm just hard headed. And I was like, no, I don't need it. And so I just stopped it like cold turkey, and I'm almost a month without it, and I'm feeling better than ever. And it doesn't just stop there for me. Like I have psoriasis. Back in February, my dermatologist wanted to put me on an injection, and I just said no because like the side effects, like with everything, I'm like, we don't know if we want more kids. I just don't want to do that. And like now you can see on my skin, it's gone. There's no like psoriasis there, and I used to have it like everywhere. And so for me, that's just like another one. But the greatest one of all to me is like being around this like community that like the patch community. Like I lost my relationship with God along the way after losing my mom. Like I was angry. Like, and so it was just like a constant high and low. Like I might go to church, I might not. And then like after being around like Bridget and Penny and like Joe Navarro, like I'm like back like on the right track with like God. And so I'm like, if I got anything out of this, it's like growing closer to God. Like, and so I always tell people like, just give me God. Like it's $3.30 a day. Like do it for yourself. And so I'm glad I did.
Thank you. That is the most important That is beautiful. What a story for his glory. And this one is the story for his glory.
Hello, my name is Brooke Whitfield. I am 27 years old and I'm from Guthrie. I was introduced to this blessing September of 2024, right before I was going into my 7th surgery. In 2019, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and if you don't know what that is, it is brutal. We kept going from appointments to appointments trying to figure out how to get me relief, and they would say, okay, let's do another surgery. And so just a little bit of hope, and I would go to that surgery, wake up, feel amazing, and then 6 months later, I was back in the hole again. I was constantly in bed with debilitating discomfort. I would roll over in the mornings and say, Kate, I honestly don't want to live another day going through this pain because I didn't know what to do. Along with that, I had fatigue, brain fog, migraines, GI issues, you name it, I had it. So in 22, I was diagnosed with PCOS, and I was like, okay, I got a little bit of hope because I was like, maybe some relief. So I started doing all the protocols they told me to do for that, and I got a little bit relief, but I was still in bed. I wasn't able to hold conversations. And so in September, my friend JC called me, and I was like, this little sticker, stem cells, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah. I mean, I had so much money spent on me trying to figure out what's going on. I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. And so that Saturday, I ended up going into an emergency surgery for a ovarian torsion. And when they were in there, they said that my ovary was adhered to my bowel and that I was going to have to go to Texas and have 3 surgeons in this. And it was going to be a long process. And so I was like, God, I know there's something more for me. Like, I don't know what it is, but I know there's something more. And so I started researching. I was like, okay, we've been down all the rabbit holes, but how can I do this naturally? And so it said stem cell therapy. And I was like, okay, wait, that's just what JC told me about was these. And so I called her back and I was like, hey, like, what were you saying? And so I was stubborn, but she showed up at my door and put it on me. And within the first week, I was sleeping through the night for the first time ever without the help of like sleeping aids and stuff. And I was waking up refreshed. Within the first month, my mental clarity started coming, and I was able to hold conversations and go out and do stuff. My strength started getting up. I was less fatigued. I had more energy throughout the day. And right at my 3rd month, I woke up one morning and all my pelvis discomfort went away. And I was like, what? And so I was like, we got to share this shout this from the rooftop. So it's been quite a journey. I'm back hiking. I'm doing the things that we dreamed of, enjoying my life traveling. So God has blessed us, and it's just been an incredible journey for us. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Kate, do you want to? Perfect.
I don't really have mine are great, yes, I got my nerve damage, went away after about 6 months of wearing the patch, but it's really just backing up what she said. Lots of prayers. Lots. I get emotional every time. But I've been a firefighter for 5 years now, and I'll go into people's homes, and they're in the worst state they've ever been. And I'll come home, and she's in the worst state she's ever been. God, this was a God gift. And it can be a God gift for so many other people, because there's not a single person that can go without this. This was, like I said, an answer to prayer. And that hike that she mentioned, we tried to go a hike in 2024. We love going to Colorado. And we went up a quarter of the way up, and I had to carry her back down. And we went and did that hike. We went and did another one. We went and did another one all day after day after day. Never, ever would that have happened. This truly is something that is so much bigger. It is so much bigger than just a patch. It's so much than just a sticker. JC showed up in my living room and said, you're going to wear this sticker. And I said, am I now? Am I really? And I quickly put my boot in my mouth. God got my attention, because she's telling me we're going to cancel that 7th surgery 3 weeks in. And when, I got my vision cleared up. So I had blurry vision, couldn't see street signs at night. They would be off and on from other problems. If you guys want to know about it, come talk to me. I'll tell you. I want to save time for her, but I have my own little things, but hers is, that's the biggest. This is it. This is it.
Thank you so much. Miss Valerie,
Yes, ma'am.
you come on up here. You got a powerful one, girl.
Hey, I'm Valerie Kennan. I'm 67 years old. I battled cancer twice in the last 15 years. I didn't think I'd get emotional, but it's tough. I did it all on my own with the help of my husband. I did it all natural, no chemo, no radiation. I don't believe in it. I believe that God can do it. He can do it. He can do whatever we need done. After I got well, my husband was so helpful. He was a basketball coach. We used to laugh and say I knew where every place the puke was, from his school to wherever we were going for a basketball game. And I got well, and then he was diagnosed with, he got very sick, and for the last 3 years, we didn't know what was wrong. He went from being a strong basketball player, basketball coach, 6'3", 240 pounds, to 116 pounds in the hospital, saying we didn't know what would happen. And that was a year ago, October, a year and a half ago. And then what happened is, finally I said, take him home, we're going home. I've been sneaking him stuff anyway. So I'm like, let's go the natural route, let's get out of here. So we went home, and then in December, we decided to move. We had lost custody of a dog. We didn't have custody, but we had raised a granddaughter for 6 years, and we weren't going to get to see her. And he looked at me and he said, for 3 years, he'd been in the bed. I took him anywhere. If he went anywhere, it was in a wheelchair. He said, let's go somewhere. I go, you want to move back to the beach? Because we moved inland to help take care of his kids and grandkids. He said, no, I think we should move to Oklahoma. I'm like, Oklahoma, that's where I'm from, but you've only been there once. And I'm like, you want to move to Oklahoma? You're a Floridian guy. He goes, let's move to Oklahoma. And we had rental properties. We had just built a new home on acreages. We had other properties. And I said, well, we're living in a little bitty town. It's going to take us a while to get through this. And in 72 hours, we had 3 contracts on the big house we just built. We had contracts and 2 backup offers for all our rental properties. And we had bought a property. My brother drove around and looked at it, and I said, it's good enough for now. I wanted to be close to him. I said, I'm bringing him in a wheelchair. I need to be close to my brother. He's a mile and a half away. I said, it's a brand new house. It worked fine, and we moved. And we left in 3 weeks. I closed on all of them at the same time, signed off and everything, and we left, and we came here. And when we got here, he had good support. We found some good physical therapists. We made sure they had season tickets to go to all the Oklahoma football basketball games. And I was in a lot of pain I had a lot of nerve damage from my cancer. My cancer is in the occipital sacrum area. And so all of these areas, I had a lot of pain. So I couldn't stand up or do things wrong, but I'm like, I'm going to get him to these basketball games, and I'm going to get him in there. We'd go inside, I'd cuss and fuss while I was trying to pull that wheelchair out of the back of the Tahoe. And then I'd go around to the side, and I'm like, can you stand up? Stand up, pop in there, and away we go. Well, that was last December, January, February. Now, he brings a cane. I call it his security camp, but I'm not sure what it is, a security cane, because I have videos of him yesterday walking in the park carrying his cane. But he is 200 pounds. He walks and goes everywhere. He is just doing incredible. And it's just amazing that this patch could make these kind of changes. We've only been on the patch since, where's Holly? July 1st, something like July 1st, the 1st of July. So I can now, I couldn't walk. I could stand 6 minutes. My brother, we like to watch my niece. We moved back here so we could watch my niece barrel race. And I'm like, my brother would get there and set chairs up for us because he knew we couldn't stand either one of us. He was on his walker. We finally got him on a walker, and I'd push him. I'd push him. I was through pushing him. He could walk, but we'd sit down immediately. And my brother knew my pain was just ridiculous, but I'm not a complainer. So just suck it up. Let's go. My dad was a high school football coach for 40 years. There's no such thing as pain. So let's go. So we did. And now I have no pain. Zero. I have zero. I mean, zero pain. I can walk 45 minutes. I could stand through an entire football game, which I didn't even realize this, but the girl that was the manager of a hotel I used to own, she said, you walked around for years holding your butt, holding that butt button. Almost, actually, she goes, I sat there in that ball game and watched you stand an entire football game. Never complained, never sat down, nothing. And I'm like, oh, that's true, I did. And she goes, who would have known? And then Bill was laughing at me because 3 weeks after starting the patch, she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm opening a water bottle. He goes, you haven't used that hand since I knew you. I go, oh, well, it works now. Yeah. So I go, I guess it's a patch. I don't really know. It seemed just like, how can this patch work? Bill has had blood pressure that's so high that the people told us there's nothing they could do. They couldn't get it down no matter what meds he took. His blood pressure when we started was 190 or 180 over 100, 120 Bill, is that fair to say? His blood pressure since we've been on the patch after the first 2 months averages 130, 140 over 80, and nothing else would change, nothing. The doctor asked me, he goes, what's the story with your blood pressure? It's 113 over 73. It's like a teenager. And I go, I don't know, I guess it's the patch. We haven't done anything. And he said, yeah, he said, your health is perfect. And I'm like, oh. So, you know, this patch is life changing. And even if you all are here, I saw there were a lot of new people. I saw Patricia, but she was new. Even if you've got people, it's like, you got to go back and share it with everybody. And even if you don't have that strong of a story, there's somebody is going to hear your stories. And every change is still a change. And I see an opportunity for me to, I totally laughed because I always say I've been very blessed financially. Wasn't raised with it, but worked very, very hard and sold a lot of real estate, bought at a really good time, sold at a really good time, bought a hotel at a really good time, sold at a really good time. What I can tell you is that I need more money to help more people. I need giving funds. I'm running low on my giving funds because I tend to give a lot. And so I'm here to reimburse my giving funds and make more giving funds. So it doesn't always have to be that you need the money. There's other things, and the fulfillment you get is amazing. Holly's been a godsend for me. I've always been a strong Christian, but I've never wanted to talk about it. And she's like, would you pray in the morning? It's beautiful out. Trey and I were out at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I need to fill that cup. I need my cup filled too. So I don't want to talk anymore, but the lessons go, just keep going on and on. There's more and more. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are the daily miracles that have become a part of our lives, and it's just overwhelming because I've been blessed to do a lot of things in life, but to hear these miracles daily like this in such diversity, and it can be anything like what you've heard to also peak performance athletes. We are all working with a number of professional athletes that wear this in a variety of sectors. Of course, in our industry, it's the professional rodeo sector, but so it is for everybody's everything, every time, over time. And we're going to bring our miracle up here because though she does not love to talk about herself, she just wants us to tell her story. She does love to be able to show you how she helps her favorite thing next to Jesus, and that is horses.
My name is Crosslyn, and I'm 17 years old. The AccuLife patches offer drug-free, needle-free pain management. They have blessed my animals' lives in more ways than I can count. This is an equine acupressure meridian chart. So starting from behind the ears all the way down the spine is a whole bunch of different points. I use our leftover X39s, and a patch is good for 24 hours. So 12 on your body and 12 on the animals. I reapply them with either Gorilla Tape or Vet Wrap. Vet Wrap for the legs mainly, and then Gorilla Tape everywhere else. The patches itself, the AccuLife is 2 patches. It's a tan patch and a white patch. Tan goes on the left and white goes on the right. This is my barrel and pole horse Redman. You can see in the pictures where he's patched on his hind end. That is typically where he is sore. I start behind the ear with my fingers and run down. Whenever they quiver, that's where they're sore, obviously. And you put the tan patch there, move to the right side, start at the top, and work your way down and patch in the same spot. This is one of my most favorite stories to tell. This is a mare at 7:45 p.m. I was actually in the shower and my mom flung the bathroom door open and said, I need you to get out because Brett and Margot need your help. This mare was colicking. She had just foaled. They had tried everything. The vets had been there. Brett thought she was going to die. She was left. There was nothing else they could do. And Margot asked me what I thought we should do. And I helped them with 3 X39s, an X39 in the front of the hips, in the center of the spine, an X39 in the center of the stomach, and an X39 in the center of the back left stifle. By 9:25, she was up walking around, nursing her baby, and by the next morning, she was able to be turned out again. Like I said, she was lifeless. I mean, you can see there, she was thrashing, rolling. There was not any hope for her. And it is just, it's a miracle what the patch can do for sure. And it's blessed my life in more ways than I can count. This is a before and after of AccuLife. Before you can see all the red, the hot spots, and then you can see the reduction in the bottom picture. This is after 12 hours. A set of AccuLife is good for 48 hours. Then the set does need to be replaced. X39 is 12 on, 12 off, just like it is on your. That is all I have. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask. I also have a YouTube channel. It's Grown with X39, where I upload YouTube videos about the patches for horses and different ways to patch. Thank you.
And that's been a fun part of this whole journey for her was her health journey was a miracle, but then we always knew that she was going to work in equine health to some degree, and we didn't know what that would look like. And now there's adults all over the nation that kept my phone ringing and dinging, needing her guidance, just like that story that she shared. And so we had to create the YouTube channel because Mom had to free up some phone and make that easily duplicatable. So for all of the equine enthusiasts, you have that, and she adds videos to it all the time. So as I bring Kerri back up to close this out, you can tell this is for humans, animals, and I even brought dead cactus back to life with one of them. So you can put your patch on anything that is bio and living, and it will produce all sorts of miracles.
Be the only way I can have a plan. Sorry. Honestly, well, so there's no doubt when you start to hear the stories, right? And, I'm going to share just in closing here a little bit more as far as what the opportunity looks like and how you can get started either patching or sharing both if you choose to. But, it was November the 30th of 2022 that my phone rang and our lives changed. My life had actually hit a wall about 30 minutes earlier when I had walked into my mom's room. She has a home 2.5 hours away from us, but she has a room at all of the kids' houses. And I walked in and I said, Mother, you have not been out of your pajamas in 3 days. Like, you are not just going to lay in bed and watch Hallmark movies for the rest of your life. And she proceeded to tell me that she was ready for a change of address. And it wasn't on Earth. And I went, what? Like, okay, wait, I don't think any kid's ever ready for that, but it took my breath away. And so after I reprimanded her in the best way I knew how, I said, what are you talking about? And she said, I just don't want to go on living on all these medications, all this pain stuff, having injections. She'd taken a pretty horrific fall in 2017 and pretty much shattered from head to toe. I mean, if it could break, it broke. And they just band-aided her, honestly. We did stem cell injections and we got no results. We did PRP injections. We were doing cortisone in both knees, shoulder, neck, and back every 3 months just to survive. And she had just a laundry list of drugs at her disposal. And she said, I don't want to keep doing them. And she said, and so if I lay completely still and I don't move, I don't need to take it. And so that was her analogy. She was just going to lay in bed and just not move. And so I walked out of her room that night and I simply just said, Lord, help me help her. And 30 minutes later, my phone rang about 10:45 at night, and my best friend said, I just found something for your foot and for your mom. And the only question I asked was, well, how fast will it get here? Because I knew it was my answered prayer. And so I had been dealing with plantar fasciitis for a whole year. I'd spent over $3,000 trying to fix my foot. And on day 3, I woke up and all of that foot pain was gone. And it has been now almost 3 glorious years of getting to wear cute shoes, getting to do things, because I wore 2 pair of orthotic shoes that whole year and I slept in a boot every night. That's not sexy for your husband. I'm just telling you. He hated the boot. But we didn't really even want to get sleep because it's uncomfortable and it's big and it's bulky and it's just constant. But everything started to change. But on day 7, my mom, the door opened because she went home the day she started patching. And the door opened and in she walked unassisted without a walker and without help for the first time in years. And my husband did a double take and has said, "Who are you?" And she said, "Today I'm the girl that doesn't need your help." And what I told my mom that night was, she said, "No one needs me and I don't want to be a burden." And I said, "I need you. My kids need you. My grandkids need you." And I said, "In fact, Mom, the world needs you." And that day when she walked in, she said, "I'm ready. I'm getting the big pack." And I go, "What?" Because she was so negative when they came in. Like, I was like, "I bought it for you and you will wear it because I'm in charge now." There's a new show. But whenever she said that, I go, "Well, what happened?" She goes, "Today I know the world needs me." And I'm telling you, my mom stood in front of a room last night in Houston, Texas. Several hundred people got to hear her story. And as the air came out, it went back in. Because she, in 9.5 months, was 100% prescription free and pain free. My mother lost 50 pounds of inflammation off of her body, going from a 12-14 to a size 4. She's radiant. She is absolutely incredible. And I just look at her and I'm like, thank you, Lord, that this simple little sticker could do so much. Because I knew that the truth is if my best friend would have waited to get her own results, I probably would have already lost my mother. Because I'm telling you, it took her 3 months. We talk about a month for every decade of life. Well, she had a torn ACL. And when Diane learned about this, she immediately thought of me and called me. But the truth is that I talked her into keep patching. Because she would say, "When's my miracle coming? It's not going to work for me." Because it was 3 months before that throbbing knee pain went away. But once it went away, it was completely gone. It just took a little longer to get all of that because once again, your stem cells are systemic. So it's working on everything. It's not just working on one thing. I love when Mary Jane said, "I was worried about my brain," right? But it was my sciatica that went away too. So it's incredible as you see that. So just keep that in mind. It's the answer is always this. Kerri, will it work on fill the blanks in? I don't care what it is. My answer is always this. Yes, yes, and yes. It'll work every time on everything, on everyone in time. We just got to give it time. Because it was my mom. I'll tell you another fun fact about her. At the 5-month mark, the doctor told her, "Your vision's 20/20, 20/25. You don't need correction anymore." My mom did not even drive a car for 8 years at night. With corrections, she couldn't see. She goes, "Well, I could see crystal clear after 3 months of wearing this patch." So it took 1 year, though, for my eyes to be fully restored and to throw away the glasses. I don't know why hers got better faster. She had a lot more stuff. Well, I don't care though, right? I don't care about any of that. So it's pretty amazing because it just gets better. So we're approaching 3 years and life has completely changed. But it was in that time frame, that first few weeks, that I'd shared it with other friends, knowing what they were going through, knowing what their aging parents and their young athletes were recovering injuries. And I shared it and we started hearing one miracle story after another. And when that patent said wound healing, one of my dear friends called me and she said her 101-year-old mother had been in the hospital with a bed sore for 2.5 months, infection that they couldn't get rid of. And she called me and she goes, "Kerri, it's gone." And I go, "What's gone?" She goes, the sore's gone, Kerri." On Sunday night, they cleaned it all up and nurse put the medical grade cover over it and she stuck a patch right beside it. On Tuesday morning, when they took it off, it was gone. And she called me and she goes, "What's this doing?" I go, "I don't know. The patent says wound healing." It's red. I was like, "I don't know." And I told my husband, I said, "I've been nearly 3 decades in health and wellness, and I've never seen the human body respond." And I said, "I feel like this is a moral obligation. We've got to go give this gift to the world." And, it didn't take long for me to sit down, and I'm going to show you a couple of slides here just real quickly, because all of a sudden I saw and I knew what I was seeing. And so, tonight I just ask you this: what's important for you? Because the answer is different for every single one of you. Just like the patch is going to do something different because it's your body and what it's going to do. The good news is it's going to work on everything, but it's going to be different, just like you heard. And so reality is that whenever we start thinking about life and we think about what's important, these are the things that most people are looking for. better health. That should be everyone's priority. You know, I pray if nothing else, you walk out of here tonight and you know I'm gonna patch, and like Lacey Dale said, I'm gonna give it a year, because what do I have to lose? I mean, a year is gonna go, I promise. 3 has come and gone really quickly. So whenever you think about health, that should be priority. But then, you know, is it paying off debt? Is it being able to travel? You know, is it being able to fill up your giving tank because you want to be able to give? And, you know, I always say, I want to be the biggest blessing that I can be, and that takes time and money. It really does, right? And so whenever you think about what's important to you, because that's this next part, it will resonate with you based upon what your desire is in life. So when I sit down and I told my husband I'm going to look at this, I had already seen enough with the technology to know it was life-changing. It was very special. But when I saw this image, my husband walked in and I said, we're fixing to earn millions of dollars. And we're fixing to create a lot of millionaires. He goes, you can look at that and see that? He goes, I'm going to need you to expand my vision. And I said, doesn't everybody love 4 people? I go, Rick, we got to this place called, it's 2-star manager now. They just increased our compensation so they could pay you more. But I saw it and I said, we've already got 4 people started. And that's what I was looking at, was that binary that pays up to $25,000 a week. And in that moment, I went, that's $1 million right there if you're hitting it right. And I was like, doesn't everybody love 4 people? Because if we achieve this without even trying, without looking at it from a business perspective, what could you do if you did it differently? And so I tell everybody, I even told the president of our company, our whole organization has been built on who you love. And it's become over 35,000 families now in less than, well, February will be 3 years. So a little over 2.5 years. The power of love is what's, because I'm like, don't go sell something. Nobody likes a salesman. But when you share something, when JC shows up at your house and says, you're going to put this on, you go, oh, am I? Yeah, that's because she loves them, right? And so that's what I love, is that everybody starts to win here. And you're compensated for just loving people. And it's a pretty powerful thing. And so we have a business launch where we can help people earn additional bonuses getting started for the first 9 weeks. And it's just getting your first 2 started. You start to tap into the first bonus and then getting your second. But we're talking 21 days. We have people earning over $3,200 to $3,500 just simply with people starting on the patch. And so that's an incredible thing to be able to help people. And then just looking bigger picture, I saw this on day 1 and I didn't realize how big it was. But there's a mentor matching bonus. So the more people you help love and win, then naturally you can earn up to $20,000 per person, every person, all the way through 6 levels. That's a lot of people, just for the record. Because if you're thinking, I'm sharing it with 2, and then I share it with another one, they share it with 2, right? It just continues to multiply. So it's pretty incredible whenever you start to see how truly generous this is. But, you know, looking at it from a business perspective for a second, how many of you in this room are business owners? How many of you know well, you can just, y'all can go interview the business owners and ask them about conventional business, because I own the salon. I know what that took to pay the bills, to, first of all, to get the loan to do it, because most people don't just say, hey, I'm going to go open a business or a franchise without needing capital. They need money up front, right? And so, you know, there's a lot of startup costs. There's a lot of risk. We know lots of franchise owners. And, you know, even the leading sub franchise in Chicago, after 3 years, started to pay them back $60,000 a year. Think about that. You got to eat a lot more sandwiches, right? So you think about a model like this where there really is no startup. It's very low, and it is also risk-free, but everything is put in for you. We have a system here. We can't guarantee anyone any amount of income. All we can show you is, hey, this is what we've done. We have a system. It's duplicatable. It wins, and it's based on who do you love. And so it's a pretty cool thing in the whole big picture of it. And so we're seeing families win. And you know, the joy is it wasn't just me saying we're going to earn millions. It was knowing we were fixing to help other families do that same thing. And they've already started to break through that $1 million a year mark already, faster than we did. And it's so much fun when you can say, come on, I know the way. And so everybody might not want to be a millionaire. Some of you, like me, might want to be a billionaire, right? Because here's the thing, you don't need that much money to live, but you definitely can do a lot more to make the world a better place when you have that much, I promise you. So it's pretty awesome. So there's 3 ways to get started. I love to cover things and I love to be very honest. Retail, preferred, and brand partner. I've never once had a retail customer. Not once. You could be one, but why would you? Because it's $150 for a month's supply as a retail customer. As a preferred customer, it automatically becomes $100 a month, and all you're doing is setting up your monthly order. Now, how long are you going to wear it? A month for every decade. I'm not interested in you buying a 30-day supply. Never have been. I've had a tennis player friend, she said, I'm going to try it for 30 days. And I said, when you're ready, call me. She goes, I'm ready. And I said, no. When you're ready, call me. And she goes, I said I was ready. Don't you want to make a sale? And I said, no. I said, I'm not here to make a sale off of you. I said, you're 62 years old. You've had multiple surgeries. You have a horrible knee. And I go, I want to change your life. So you're going to at least give me 6 months. I prefer a year. And she goes, I go, so when you're ready, let's go. I go, you could buy it 1 month at a time. And I said, and that's okay with me. And I go, but I'm just not here to sell you something. And every time I see her, I give the biggest bear hug and the biggest thank you. Thank you for not just making $1. Thank you for changing my life. And so, because she plays more tennis now than she ever did, at a higher level than she ever has. And she's like, my recovery, but I'm not trying to just limp out of bed every morning. But it took me being firm, like, I'm not here just for your money. So you could be a preferred customer. Most people choose to be a brand partner because you can take advantage of our bigger discounts and the packages, but most people are honestly already thinking, I hope the good human person inside of you, when you heard those life-changing stories tonight, you go, I know somebody who needs this, because we all do. And it's usually the people we love and the people that we know. So, you can join as a brand partner and you can automatically start to share this with the people. And, that's the best part. We just tell everybody what your options are. So as far as becoming a brand partner, there's different bundles. We have 4 different packages. The first one is just, I always say it's the person who's like, okay, let me try it. You see if y'all really telling the truth. I'll start with the low one. We're telling the truth. So most people automatically go to the top, but it's okay. I saw the premium as a customer. As a consumer, I started with that one because I was committing to patch 4 people, my 81-year-old mother, me and my husband, and our daughter. And I thought, well, we're going to need more than 20 sleeves. And so I wanted the deepest discount just to be a good steward of my money. I had no intentions of talking about this, but by the next day, I had watched the video and thought, oh, when my friend walked in, I knew what they were dealing with their health. And I said, sit down and watch this video. She goes, not even a hug. No, how was the drive from Louisiana? And I go, we'll get to that in a minute. Watch the video. And their life was forever changed. And so it was just that simply wanting to love people, but then understanding, and when I had more sleeves, I could be, hey, here's you a sleeve. When yours comes back, you can just pay me back when yours comes in. So I was getting miracle stories before their first order ever arrived. And so that's something that a lot of people just like to have some product on hand. But the one package I'll tell you about is that the advanced and higher, so advanced plus, and premium does fully open our compensation plan. So if you're that person that's saying, I know a lot of people, I'm going to help them, or you're that person that's saying, you know what, I'm tired of the debt. I'm tired of the fact that I go somewhere and I give 40 to 60 hours a week of my life and I'm not fulfilled there. There's people I know in this amount of number, because here's what I know. I love to study numbers and statistics, and every one you look at in America tells you 8 out of 10 people are disgusted with their job. Disgusted. When I read the little study that said more people die on Monday morning than any other day of the week, dreading, I thought, oh, we got to change this. Life's too good. Life's too good to want to be there. So the other thing I always like to mention is the importance of a monthly subscription. Just because when you have that monthly order coming, this binary compensation plan, unlike anything you have, I just say your friends are putting a bunch of coins, money, whatever you want to call it, just putting all this stuff, all this volume in a piggy bank each and every day as they share it. And it's all blessing you if you choose to share it. And so it's a wise thing. So whoever's invited you, they'll explain that, but it's really important. And all it is, the only overhead we have to have a multi-million-dollar business that spans across the globe is 2 sleeve auto ship. X39 for me and X39 for my husband. That is the best overhead a business owner can have in the entire world. I don't care what kind of business you're in. And so there's nothing else required of us. So we have order forms here, we can help you. And the other cool thing is if you started with the core or advanced plus, any of them, you can always upgrade. And so that person who comes in and goes, I'm just gonna try it, and then they're like, this is it, this is it. They see what we see. You can upgrade. So from a core to advanced, now instead of $295, you only pay $240. You're getting 3 sleeves, so your price still drops. And then Advanced Plus gets it even cheaper. So it's just constantly saving you money. And so we love the upgrades, just even for the consumer, right? They're able to take advantage of that. So once again, here's the beauty. Everything we do when we share this technology, if somebody gets started, if somebody does an upgrade, if somebody gets that 1-star manager, the 2-star manager, if you yourself promote, everything leads to points to Hawaii. And so when this incentive rolled out on October the 27th, we had a couple that had just been wearing the technology for about a week and a half. And one guy went in 9 days and earned Hawaii. And they said, well, you know what? We're going to do it faster. They did it in 6 days. We like a little friendly competition. We've already done it. There's so many in our organization, and it's so much fun because all we're doing is helping people do what they already do. So we're not telling you got to go out there and be the top 100 or the top 10 in sales or anything else, because with our incentive trips, we all get to go. See, I can honestly tell you that we all get to go. It's not you're competing against a number of people. You get here, and it's pretty incredible. So we don't care if there's 10,000 people. The company's going to pay and take you on that trip. So it's pretty exciting. So the last thing, excuse me, is just asking yourself really, truly what kind of freedom it is that you are looking for in life. Because I don't take that little tagline there lightly. Excuse me. You know, we've been blessed for the last 14 years, my husband and I, to serve our Navy SEALs and work alongside of them. And it has been one of the greatest blessings of our life. But our freedom in America comes at a price. And free enterprise comes at a price. And it's always under attack. And I'm telling you, the more that I think about the beauty that we have, because I don't believe there's a single human that was ever designed by God Almighty to live on the right side. I just don't. And so that to have lack, to have worry, to have stress, all these things that usually stem back to health and finances. Those are the 2 greatest needs that Americans have. Well, anybody has in the world. But whenever you can look at it from that angle and go, man, I not only can get my health 100% restored, but I can be a blessing and serve others and be able to generate that finance. So whatever it is, when I look at that, I'm like, what is it? Because I can assure you, living in those freedoms is the greatest thing you'll ever experience. Time freedom, financial freedom, debt freedom. That was the biggest one for us when we literally were able to live life completely free. I'm telling you, it changes everything. And it allows you to do way more for other people when you don't just barely have enough, but when you have more than enough and you can be a blessing. So at the end of the day, I always go back to your health has got to be priority. And the people who love you, well, they deserve that. Because I once was a girl that didn't have my health. And I was in bed about 15 hours a day. I took a ton of medication. I didn't feel good. And I was a lot like Brooke going, is this as good as it gets, God? Because I'm no good for my son. I'm no good for my husband. I'm being told I'll never have any more children, all these things. Well, I got news. The day came that I decided that wasn't the truth. And I was going to chase the truth instead of the lies that I've been living. And she's living proof. My 25-year-old daughter sitting on the back row. What a blessing, because I said, you know what, your plan's not getting me any better. I'm going to take my own plan and I'm going to take my life into my own hands and I'm going to restore my health. And I did. And it's been now a journey, because once you do that, you want to help others do it. You want to help people find their freedom. And so we are very passionate about your health. But I also know in that time, the hardest part of my family became the fact that we couldn't pay our bills. And I'll never forget when my health was gone, I couldn't pay my bills, and I went, man, some people are just, I was one twisted ankle. I didn't know it. I had a thriving salon. I was a nail technician. Life was good. I twisted my ankle walking up a flight of stairs, and my world changed just like that. And 3 years later, pretty much bedridden, I was not any better. I was worse after they had done all of my spinal surgeries and all these things. And I'm like, man. So I realize sometimes when people lose their job and it's all gone, And I know that happens to a lot of people that we know and love. And so I love the fact that we truly can help people in every capacity. So this is one of those, you get to take the inventory and always just say, ask yourself this question. Do I want everything in my life, to be a direct reflection of the last 5 years? Because here's what I know, if nothing changes, nothing changes. We just get to repeat the next 5 years, and it's like a mirror. Every day, people go through Groundhog's Day. And so I'm just telling you, this is an opportunity that you're not in it by yourself. That's the best part. We're gonna lock arms with you and we're gonna help you. And so I'm so grateful that you shared your time with us tonight, because at the end of the day, like Lacey Dale mentioned, I do believe that I'm gonna turn your screen back on. Your time is your most precious resource. And I hope tonight we've added value to your life, that you can see something here for, if nothing else, your own health. But maybe for the people you love, and maybe for the finances or the dreams inside of your heart. Because what I also know about those dreams is they're real. They weren't just put there for you to think, oh, that was silly. No, whenever you can have that freedom, you can have those dreams come true. And so that's what we're passionate about, is the whole big picture. So just get back with whoever's invited you here tonight and let them know exactly what you want, and they're going to be able to help you get it. Because we have the system. We have all the things in place, and you're in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity, that's for sure. So thank you so much for everyone, and God bless.